You'll have heard of the old bait and switch. It describes a fraud where a company advertises one thing, something that sounds highly desirable, which is the bait. But when a mug actually makes a purchase, they get sold something else entirely, something they wouldn't have wanted in a million years. That's the switch. You see an offer for a luxury coat at a knockdown price. When you try and buy it, you're told they're all sold out, but here's one at twice the price. That's bait and switch, and it's illegal. Bait and switch is all around us. Insects in food. Remember when "waiter, there's a fly in my soup" was the start of a joke? Well, now the joke is well and truly on us, and the flies aren't just in the soup, they'll be in the bread and all the rest. They tell us we can save the planet by not eating meat. That's the bait. They push plant-based foods and tell us they're the healthier option anyway, even though anyone who's looked at the ingredients on the side of a pack of vegan sausages knows you need a chemistry degree to decipher them. And then there's the bugs. Eat crickets, the Hollywood A-listers tell us. It's better for the environment. But replacing other sources of protein with crickets means a lot of crickets. It's been estimated that it takes 363,000 crickets to match the calorie count of just one cow. We eat billions of land animals and trillions of sea animals every year. Stop all that and it's going to take a lot of sheds full of a lot of crickets. Just think of the energy needed to breed and keep all those insects. Maybe think about the genetic modification. Stop to wonder about some of the viruses and diseases insects carry. Where could it all go wrong? And yet still the bait is that 1/3 of a million bugs are preferable to one grass-fed cow. And anyway, if crickets are, let's say, safe and effective, why not just tell us we're going to be eating them? Don't slyly turn them into powder and slip them into the food supply under a Latin name no one understands. Tell the truth, out there in the light where everyone can see it. The EU have passed legislation to have crickets cooked into powder and added to all manner of foods. In the EU's own legislation, the list is long. Everything from cereal and bread to meat, cheese, beer and sweets. Even now, the presence of crickets won't be obvious. It won't say crickets on the packaging. It will say Ascitus domesticus, which is Latin for house cricket. In the end, the bait and switch is in governments and corporations shouting from the rooftops they are working to save the planet and make us healthier. But what do we end up with? Food cut with insect powder we're not supposed to notice. I say the claim that any of this is to improve our health or save the planet is a fraud and a hoax. Electric vehicles are another bait and switch. There are an estimated 30 million fossil fuel cars in Britain. That's not counting the trucks that move all the commodities. There's 250,000 of those as well. We're invited to think that one fine day, every one of those dirty old gas guzzlers will be replaced with a shiny new electric alternative. Forget it. That lofty notion is just the bait. The switch is the reality. Most of us won't have any sort of car at all. Unless the demand for cars, any sort of cars, drops drastically, there's no way to hit the emissions targets our governments have loudly committed us to. That's where the 15-minute cities come in. We'll be expected to walk or cycle. Do you see the scam yet? They advertise a world of electric cars, but what we'll end up buying is lives lived on foot within 15 minutes of our homes. Round the corner from where I live, the council installed a rank of electric vehicle charging points. The electricity in them is free at the moment, has been for months. Anyone who wanted could park up and charge their car for nothing. I say free, but of course there's no such thing as free. Someone was paying, which is to say the poor old council taxpayers of Stirling. Those Teslas and the rest might as well have been taking their charge from the private home they were parked outside while the owner of the house footed the bill. That whole stunt was more bait, pushing that illusion that electric cars are the cheap option. Next week, those bays will start charging for the electricity. There's the switch. But the bait has gone bad. More and more people smell something fishy and are waking up to the reality of electric vehicles. It's becoming hard to ignore that those massive batteries full of lithium and cobalt, obtained by raping environments and destroying ecosystems, the dirty work done by the poorest of the poor, children included, scrabbling in the dirt with bare hands, those batteries, which are so wildly energy intensive to make and that can't be recycled when they fail after 20 years, those batteries don't like the cold, which is a bit of a bummer if you live in a country that actually has winter, like here for instance. In winter, those batteries lose up to half their charging capacity. Oh dear, what a pity, never mind. There's that switch again. Second-hand car dealers in the main won't touch electric cars. I wonder why. You can't make electric cars with renewable energy. There's literally not enough energy in it, so it takes fossil fuels. In Shanghai, where there's been a large uptake of electric cars, the city's charging points are powered by fossil fuels. The air pollution in Shanghai is on the increase as a result. Save the planet, my backside. By the time everyone wakes up, it will be too late and all the cars that work will be gone. America is sitting on 8 million cubic tonnes of lithium. The US actually led on the development of lithium mines until the 1990s, when they were shut down. The Greens in the US, a group well practised in embarking upon ruinously expensive legal action, effectively bans lithium mining there. Now 80% of the world's lithium is mined in Australia, Chile and China. China controls half of the world's lithium production and 3/4 of the world's lithium battery factories. Wherever it happens and however it's done, mining of any sort is extraordinarily expensive, requires vast amounts of fossil fuel energy and inflicts catastrophic damage. Renewable energy, dependent upon the mining of rare metals and minerals like lithium, cobalt, copper, silver and a whole raft of others in mind-boggling quantities, can never be green. Renewable energy's appetites rape the planet every bit as enthusiastically as any other. Except nuclear, of course, but we don't talk about nuclear because Greens don't like the clean, emissions-free energy that is nuclear. I say again, the only solution, the inevitable solution, and the one we're not supposed to know about yet, is no cars. They advertise green energy and electric cars, but what they're selling is environmental damage, more billions for the super-rich, followed by no cars for us, bait and switch. Under cover of all this, the fossil fuel industry will be dismantled and put away. I say the day will come when we look over our shoulders and notice it's gone. By then, it will be obvious that most of us don't have cars either. Finally, we'll ask, how come my home is cold and yet I still don't have an electric car? And back will come the reply, shut up and get on your bike. And the mummy and daddy of all bait and switches comes with digital ID. The bait is the well-tried one, which is convenience, such a tasty carrot. The clock is already ticking on a government consultation exercise about the imposition of digital ID. If you haven't noticed, it's hardly surprising, since the government hasn't advertised what it's up to. We have until the 1st of March to go to a government website and make clear how much we feel about what is proposed. If we don't object, and in enough numbers, the proposals will become law by the end of the year, and digital ID will be real. As always, the large print giveth and the small print taketh away. The bright and crunchy carrot of convenience will seek to reassure you that digital ID will keep you safe and ensure your privacy. The dark side, the enemy inside the Trojan horse, is that every shred of your private data will be shared with any government agency and any so-called stakeholder that wants it. Above all else, know this. The new world into which we are sleepwalking is one of zero trust. Zero trust is not my idea. It's the official foundation of your future. Zero trust means each one of us is regarded as a criminal until we can prove otherwise by exposing every scrap of our data. We will be guilty until we prove our innocence. To shop online, you'll have to use your digital ID to prove you are who you are. Just to read your email, to use online banking, even to open your computer will require your digital ID. You'll be in digital jail until you open it with your digital key. All of this can be connected to your carbon footprint and the rest of your social credit score. Make no mistake, all of it is on the Chinese model that enables the state to watch, track and record everything you do and everywhere you go. The cameras are already in place around us and in our phones and screens, alongside the microphones that can listen. All of this can be tied to a central bank digital currency, not actual money you can hide under the mattress, just a digital credit rating monitored before any and every transaction. Imagine a future where artificial intelligence watches you try and charge your electric vehicle or put fuel in your old car and decides you've already emitted too much CO2 this month. Result, no power or fuel for you. Or you try and buy a steak and the AI decides you've consumed enough environment-wrecking beef. You can't buy it. Imagine you want to travel to London for a meeting and the AI decides you've tweeted something the government doesn't like. No ticket for you. The usual voices will say all of this is just conspiracy theory, but the past 3 years have proved that today's conspiracy theory is tomorrow's fact. Here are more facts. All online technology is vulnerable to cyber attack, theft and fraud. Banks and the rest are hacked and defrauded all day, every day. There goes your private data. The consultation document is long and complex. The elderly, those without smart tech, those who struggle with technology and even literacy will neither find the document nor be able to take part. In no way can they give informed consent. Children and adolescents are at most risk because they cannot give informed consent by definition. Here's the thing. Our governments want digital ID. For the longest time, most of us have been slaves to debt. In the future, we are to be digital slaves, our every move under round-the-clock surveillance and subject to the yes or no of Big Brother. When it comes to bait and switch, this is the end game. Once digital ID is in place, they won't need the bait anymore because we'll have swallowed it. We have until March. Don't say you didn't know it was happening.